The civil service, get ready for this, spent more than 27 million quid last year on equality, diversity and inclusion projects for their staff. Now, the first full list of Whitehall wokery reveals that hundreds of equality staff are employed by the government on average salaries of £53,000. Now, £27 million, well, that will pay for the winter fuel payments of 135,000 British pensioners, or it will buy 1,000 nurses each and every year. It's an astonishing situation. I'm joined by a good pal of mine, friend of the show, the media campaign manager at the Taxpayers Alliance, William Yarwood. William, welcome to the show. So the Whitehall wokerati, you and I bump into a lot of them when we're trying to get to the Westminster Arms. They're always in the way and never pay for their beer. I digress. On a serious point, this is a lot of money going from the public purse, the taxpayers' purse, creating a lot of brand new, shiny, non-jobs. 27 million quid, and it shows no sign of slowing down.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good evening, Martin. Great to talk to you as always, man. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad the Cabinet Office finally gave out an actual full list. I mean, we at the Taxpayers Alliance usually have to do all this work ourselves, sending endless FOIs and hopefully getting responses from different government departments and quangos. But yeah, 27 million over 1 year is quite extortionate. But actually, these numbers have been going up in recent years. I mean, if you look at just quangos by themselves, they doubled their spending on EDI roles since 2021. Town hall bureaucrats, well, they've spent over £52 million on EDI roles since 2021. So yeah, it's not just a problem in Whitehall specifically and with quangos, it's also to do with local councils as well. But yeah, £27 million, I think that's £27 million too much.
Let's get back to the brass tacks, William. Where did this come from and where is it going? I've got a theory, and I think we've got thousands and thousands of pointless graduates who haven't got jobs to go to, who can't do anything meaningful. So the civil service has invented thousands of pointless non-jobs. The problem is the taxpayer pays for it. Do you think the time is up for this? We're seeing what's going on in America with their DOGE units, government efficiency programs. The Reform Party certainly seems to have this fully in its sights. Do you think we are approaching a time now where the data is being published, the public can see it, they've had enough? Do you think there's an end in sight and common sense might prevail and these non-jobs might get swept into the sea?
Well, I certainly hope so, Martin. But if we look at these numbers, a lot of these numbers actually came from the last Conservative government. I mean, the last Conservative government talked quite a lot towards the end of its tenure about scrapping non-jobs and woke jobs. I mean, Jeremy Hunt and Esther McVey, both when they were in Sunak's cabinet, gave endless speeches about how they were going to crack down on EDI roles and, rainbow lanyards and all that other kind of stuff in the public sector. And nothing ever really happened. And to be quite frank with you, Martin, I don't think anything's going to happen under this Labour government. And whether any future government has the will or the ability to do that is another question. I'd certainly like to see it. Maybe if you got me in there and gave me about 5 minutes, maybe I'd get rid of them all, Martin. But in regards to our politicians, I simply don't know. All I do know is that the last Conservative government failed to do it. This Labour government certainly isn't going to. And, whether a Reform or a Conservative government will have the ability or the courage to do so, it is kind of up for grabs.
Now, William Yarwood, let's be absolutely clear. Nobody wants there to be inequality, persecution, racism, sexism. We don't want any of that stuff. That has no place in the workplace. It has no place in society. But I put it to you, if it's your job to basically find racism, you're going to find it. It's your job. It's your job. You're paid to go and find evidence. Otherwise, no racism, no job. So is this a self-fulfilling prophecy? The more people we hire to tell us these problems exist, the more it's signal boosted, and actually, the more it divides us.
Yeah, I completely agree, Martin. I actually read a report recently which was talking about a so-called institutional racism and sexism inside of the fire service, where they basically hired some outside EDI consultants, because, of course, there's plenty of EDI consultants in the private sector now as well. They hired some EDI private consultants to come into the fire service and basically have a bit of a snoop around in order to supposedly find racism, sexism. And like you said, what a surprise! They found lots of racism and sexism. And do you know what their evidence was? Anecdotal evidence and a few people saying a few words about how uncomfortable they were in one individual situation. That doesn't quite sound like evidence for me for completely changing an entire system. And also maybe there's reasons why EDI officers and that lot find this kind of racism everywhere, because they have not just an incentive on a monetary level, but have an ideological incentive as well, because it reinforces their already pretty crooked worldview. So yeah, this is a problem across the public sector and even in the private sector. And yeah, I hope someone comes away and slashes it all, because it's just causing more division, more problems, and costing taxpayers millions, as we've just talked about.
OK, William Yarwood, thank you. We have to leave it there. Media campaign manager at the Taxpayers Alliance. Always a pleasure.